Well, good morning, boys. It's 15 degrees out, dark, early. It's a Sunday. Really, most people are in bed where they should be. A little bit after 6 o'clock, on the way to race, of course. Why wouldn't I be? I mean, come on. It's the middle of January. Actually headed the wrong way right now. I forgot my breakfast sandwiches, guys. Can't believe I forgot the breakfast sandwiches, but I did remember the little cardboard thing for your time card. I put that on there. I got a new sprocket for my studded tires wheel set, and I even went to see Mike Costa to get a brand new set of studded tires. This presented another opportunity for you to learn from my mistakes. I asked Mike for a set of rally spikes, which are the short ones. That was the right call based on what I thought was going to be very little snow on the ground. Turns out in Connecticut, they actually had a lot of snow on the ground, and long studs were the way to go. The only long studs I have are old and worn out. How bad could it be? Pretty bad, as it turns out. It was like 16 degrees at the start, which was fine for us, but killed the GoPro battery. So all the footage I have is from after the gas stop. That is a real shame, because I rode very well in the morning. I was right with the pack in my class. My buddy Rich was long gone, of course, but the snow was good, and even my worn out spikes did just fine. After the gas stop, though, the trail was a little more chewed up, it was a little warmer. I started doing stuff like this. And the rear tire just was not helping me out at all. Also, the transfer sections were really long. It was very cold, and I started to cramp up, like my hand, which I had to. I had to straighten out my clutch finger with my throttle hand just to get going. It was bad. The issue at the moment is my clutch hand doesn't work. Makes it a lot tougher. As you guys know, riding enduros is tough enough for me as it is, but with a malfunctioning clutch hand, man, these technical sections were really awkward. Probably the most technical part of the whole day. Rear tire, it's like no traction suddenly. So after the gas stop, when I would get on the gas, it would just spin the back tire. Not hard on the gas, just a little bit. And you could hear the exhaust note just pick right up. Based on how I had done in the first few tests, I was pretty optimistic about a good finish here, so I was trying really hard to work with this back tire, see if I could come around on the conditions, even with this worn tire, and put together a decent race. The single track was absolutely wonderful. I kind of compromised with my tire, but it dumped out onto some double track here, which was really fun. And I thought maybe a good opportunity for me to gather back some of the time that I'd given away struggling with the rear tire, or struggling with my lack of talent. actually a pretty big hit. It came, for me anyway, just out of nowhere. I think the back end just came around, and you can see my root sheet holder. That was with a hose clamp on pretty tight. So that actually got me right under my armpit at the rib cage, which was awesome. And then, and then my calf started cramping up. At this point, I was starting to wonder if the first few tests had been like an anomaly, and now I was reverting back to my normal practice of inexplicable crashes, physical limitations, cramps, lack of skill, poor equipment care. So that's kind of what I'm used to in really bad conditions. Like I can get up the climbs. It just is really slow. So I thought maybe I had a chance. Shot to the ribs. Lord. At this point, I was, I think, a little kind of disoriented, trying to figure out what the heck was going on. I had a couple of pretty big falls there, and they caught me by surprise, which is not a great feeling. The second one maybe a little less, but I mean, I tucked the front and just went right down. I don't know. I was starting to wonder if today was really going to be my day. I'm kind of a slow learner that way. Slow learner or not, man, it was obvious that these trails are phenomenal. I loved this loop. Really nice. Cannot wait to go back next year. This is where it all came apart. Actually, it probably all came apart long before this, but this is where it really sank in. I was on a pretty steep hill here. You can't tell it on the camera, of course, but 11:57, all right? So been out for about 3 hours, and I am literally stuck. Cannot move. Literally fucking stuck. Fuck. I don't get it. This is race over right here. Guys, I was at wit's end. I actually couldn't make any progress. I thought maybe take some air out of the rear tire. I mean, I was desperate. I figured I'll go off trail, and then this guy, I'm like, well, how did he go? And then I actually looked, like, he went on the same trail I'm going on, right? How does that even happen?
Stay off the trail, stay in the fresh snow, and make your way, get a bit of a run there, and kind of hop over that log, and then bank to the right after that big tree and get up on the trail.
Whatever you can, if you're trying to ride up here, do everything you can to get your feet on the pegs.
Yeah.
Yep.
And get your weight right over, put your head over your headlight, you know,
okay.
if you can. And then you'll get better traction. But we'll help you up.
You got a good
Thanks.
rear stud, good enough.
What's that?
Your rear stud's good enough. I mean,
That's what I don't understand.
yeah,
It's
so frozen.
kind of pushed over. They do have some mileage on them.
Yeah, you could flip it.
All right, so we got 12:10, so that's 14 minutes lost on the side of the trail. I almost had a heart attack when that guy said my studded tire was fine. It looks fine, okay, but all the stuff in the middle is totally pushed down. I'm very defensive about that, and I'm not going to yield on that point. The tire's crap, and that's at least 30% of the reason that I was having so much trouble. Coming into the check at the end of this section, finally, I get there and it's minute 70. Now I started on row 10, which I thought meant that I was houred out, but I forgot that during the earlier sections I gave up time and so started on later rows. So even though it's 70 here, I'm actually not yet houred out, although I kind of thought I was.
70.05.
Really?
70.05.
There's a few more. There were guys when
I didn't know you were riding.
we came into this section. There were guys going in.
So after working up a solid sweat wrestling with my bike, it's much harder when you push it as opposed to riding it. Anyway, after working up a solid sweat, these transfer sections were freezing cold. Oh my God, it was like being on the top of K2.
You want to go on?
Yeah, that's fine. Does that mean I'm houred out and done? What does that mean?
Yeah. Well, it's it's 70 and he started on 10. Do you have to go past 1 hour?
No, that's it. 60 minutes.
So he's just done. But you have 5 miles, this last 5 miles and you're back at the...
Oh yeah, I wasn't gonna, well, unless it would screw things up, I'd just as soon ride.
Keep going.
Yeah.
But,
So mostly I show the brutal struggling parts because they're more fun to watch, I think, for most people, or more interesting. But guys, there was hours and hours and hours of riding, especially if you're me, you get extra hours. Like this, where, I mean, you're just flying through the snow on these beautiful trails, just having a great time. Really, really enjoyable, even for all the suffering.
Couple more miles.
Good.
I think you're hour'd out, but
Yeah.
that way. Put some grip studs in where.
That's what I would do. I'd flip it and run it that way, and you're going to see it's going to be a big difference.
I wish we'd been hanging out yesterday.
I know, buddy.
Well, some important lessons learned on the day. Definitely want to have the right tires and the right studs if you're going to do a winter race. Also, winter races are really fun. Do not be discouraged even if it's going to be 12 degrees out. You will not be cold except on the transfer sections. Make sure you have a windproof shell for those and think about tucking it away once you get back into the woods. When all was said and done, I did not finish last in my class, which I consider a minor miracle, and I feel that I owe a personal favor to whoever finished behind me. Thank you. I really did have a good time. It seemed like a missed opportunity, especially after the morning section's going so well. Can't wait for next year. Maybe get a little redemption in the snow. What do you think, guys? Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Sorry I could not deliver a better performance, but stay tuned. Got a couple more races coming up before the end of March. It should be good.